and we are live with Backside Groundballs Media. I am your host, Will, at Overdue Sports on Twitter, and today we have a very, very special guest, the All ACC First Team third baseman, a midseason All American in 2024, All Region second team. He led Duke in batting average in 2024, and of course, probably the most important one, All Mustache team. We have Ben Miller from Duke University. How are we doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're super stoked to have you. Obviously, you transferred in from University of Pennsylvania, UPenn, an Ivy League school. We're seeing a huge increase in that trend where a lot of guys are coming over for their fourth year, their fifth year from Ivies to these Power Five teams. You had a couple teammates last year in Logan Bravo and Charlie Bielenson. This year, you have a couple more in Jake Berger and Reed Easterly from both Harvard and Yale. Talk me kind of through that transition for you, jumping from Ivy League to Power Five at Duke.
Yeah, I think it just makes a lot of sense coming from the Ivy League to Duke specifically. That's one, a lot of those guys are very, academically inclined and care a lot about their postgraduate plans and postgraduate life. A lot of them have jobs. So if they're going to forego the working world for another year, then they want to get a degree that's worth it. And Duke certainly offers that. Also, we couldn't play in the Ivy League as graduate students. So it wasn't an option to stay at the places we were at. So I know once COVID hit, everyone was kind of looking towards, what might come afterwards and thinking about it. We could also commit before our senior season even began. I committed to Duke August of my senior year. So I had a whole season playing at Penn knowing I was going to be at Duke the next year. And it's been really cool to see, man. A lot of the guys have had a lot of success at all sorts of Power Five schools. I mean, I love talking about all the guys at Penn that we've had, transfer other places and have a ton of success. Jackson Appel was catching for Texas A&M in the College World Series final last year, which is a ton of fun. And I mean, we've got stories like that from my freshman year all the way through this year. Wyatt Hensler's going to be starting at A&M hopefully this year, and I'm sure he's going to have a great year as well. And I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, so with that, does that multiple years of college experience help you a ton? Because there's always that big transition between high school and college where the game just speeds up on you a ton, but you've got 3 years under your belt heading into Duke. So that transition must have been even easier just from a baseball standpoint because you had starting experience at the college level.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at Penn, we still had the opportunity to play against Power Five schools. We played A&M my junior year, played South Carolina my senior year, and then beat Auburn in the regional my senior year as well. So, I still had a ton of experience against Power Five schools, but also had just a ton of college at bats. And I probably wasn't ready coming out of high school to play at a school like Duke. I certainly wanted to and thought I was at the time, but now that I'm here and seeing what these 18-year-old kids can do, man, I mean, they've all got super bright futures. But I'm pretty close to 1,000 college at bats now, and that's certainly something that I can lean on when I'm facing a guy like Chase Burns or something like that. Not that I had a lot of success against him, but but I think that's certainly an advantage that I have is being able to play the mind games with the pitcher and the pitching coach, and that's just something that you got to learn through experience.
Yeah, speaking of Chase Burns, that series was a huge series for you guys at Wake last year. What was that like being in the box against him? Obviously, he was a top five pick last year. He's rocketing up prospect boards all over the place. Just walk me through kind of your approach against a guy like that. Maybe even specifically him, but those plus arms with multiple plus pitches.
Yeah, that was really my welcome to the ACC. That was our first ACC series, and the Friday night game was crazy, man. I mean, we jumped on him early, and then Seaver King hit a big homer off of our guy Santucci to bring him right back. The place was packed. I was like, man, this is crazy, but it was awesome. We got that win on Friday, and everyone would kind of take a deep breath, and then you got Chase Burns on Saturday, and we all laugh about it. Our pitching or hitting coach Eric Tyler in the hitters meeting, he's like, "All right, guys, the fastball doesn't play up, so it's 100, but it's just 100. It doesn't look like 102 or anything like that." We're like, what does that mean? It's still 100. But honestly, I mean, I didn't have any success with him at all. I think it was a big learning experience for me. Facing a guy like that, you gotta stick to your guns and hunt your pitches. But when he's throwing 100, it's tough not to try to get geared up for it. And then I was chasing and all sorts of stuff. I mean, his 92 mile an hour slider, when you're waiting for 100, it just looks like a 100-mile-an-hour knuckleball. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what kind of career that guy's going to have. I mean, he's a unicorn for sure, but certainly a good learning experience.
Yeah, I can't imagine being in the box against that. I mean, he was making hitters look silly all season long, especially in conference play, which was one of the better conferences last year. So, I mean, it's just a testament to you guys getting out and having to face that in conference play and prep you for the postseason. You kind of mentioned that when you were looking at Duke, you committed early on in your senior year at UPenn, and you actually mentioned to me pre-show, which I didn't realize that you're from Durham. And I was going to ask you what your decision process kind of looked like. Was Duke always at the top of your list? Like this was the school, and then that opportunity came up kind of later in your Penn career, and it was just done deal, or was there kind of other schools in play, or was Duke kind of just the number one?
Yeah, it was always Duke, man. I grew up a huge Carolina fan. Actually, my dad went to UNC, but around my freshman or sophomore year, I decided of high school, I decided that Duke was where I wanted to play, and being right down the road, had a ton of opportunities to go to their camps. Probably went to 3 or 4 of them. They came to a ton of my high school games, and at the time, I didn't really understand it, but now I get it. I mean, I just wasn't ready. And it is what it is. I mean, I thought that was just a goal that I wasn't ever going to get to check off. Went to Penn, had a phenomenal time at Penn. Absolutely loved it, man. Coach Yurkow and Coach Chantella do a phenomenal job recruiting and developing guys. I mean, I think the Ivy League is as good as it's been since probably the early 20th century. Um, I mean, they're going out and having a lot of success in regionals, and I don't regret anything about my career path. But yeah, once COVID happened, a senior my freshman year, Peter Matt ended up using his COVID year at Duke, and that was certainly something that was kind of in the back of my head for the rest of my time there, knowing that would be hopefully an opportunity for me down the line. And I think I entered the transfer portal August 1st of my senior year, and then by the time I got out of practice that day, Coach Pollard had already sent me a text saying call him, and basically offered me that night. And I tried to play hard to get with them, but it was tough to do, man. I mean, it'd been my dream for so long, and it's been an incredible experience. It's been truly a dream come true. I've described it as checking a box that I'd erased, which isn't an opportunity that a lot of people get. So I'm super grateful for it. It's been over a year now, but still walking into that locker room and seeing a jersey with my name on it is pretty cool.
And that's got to make those home games even just a little bit more special. Obviously, that environment is super fun. Duke was a team that I've been covering really closely over the last 2 seasons, so I've tuned in a ton over the last 2 years. But that home environment is something special. You guys were fantastic last year, had a huge run in ACC play, had a great season. So for you personally, that's got to be even more special. You get to regionals last year. Obviously, a little bit of a disappointing ending. I think you would agree, coming to a close in regional play after winning the ACC tournament. But to have that, your name on the back, Duke on the front, has to be just super special for you with that home crowd.
Absolutely, and it's been a great opportunity for a lot of people that have been very influential in my life to come and watch me play, since they may have not had that opportunity when I was playing up in Philadelphia. I've had elementary school teachers, college coaches, all sorts of people come out to games, and it's been really fun.
That's awesome. So you mentioned, you're close to 1,000 at bats career over your college career, but you had a big uptick in numbers even from your last year at Penn to your first year at Duke in both the batting average department, but specifically the power department. You almost doubled your home runs, a lot more productive in doubles. What was that offensive transition like? Was it a coaching thing? Did you just make some mental tweaks? Talk me through your development over the last year that took you to a completely new level from what you saw at your last year at Penn.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Chantel, the hitting coach at Penn, he's absolutely phenomenal, and he did a great job of getting me ready to have a lot of success at the highest level. And I think it was just the accumulation of at bats. I mean, my first real college at bats weren't until my junior year, so I was certainly physically ready at that time. But it just took those reps to really have it all click. And then transitioning it to Eric Tyler, the hitting coach at Duke, he's phenomenal as well. I mean, he's a young guy, super energetic, and really knows how to coach the player. He doesn't have one philosophy that he uses, and I think that's really important when you're dealing with older guys, grad transfers that already have some experience. He just kind of lets you do your thing and works with you, understand what helps you tick. And we made a couple of minor tweaks, and then I think that paired with facing guys like Jonathan Santucci and Fran O'Shell in the fall really helped prepare me for the high power arms that I was going to face in the ACC. And I think with the uptick in power, I think a lot of that is due to the ride fastballs that you see at this level. They're tough to get to, but if you can, I mean, they really jump off the bat and get a lot of backspin. So all you got to do is get it on the barrel and flick it out.
Yeah, that's great. Obviously, it was awesome to see that uptick happen, and then you were on the Golden Spikes watch list at the midseason point. All American at the midseason point. So you definitely took that next step, and I anticipate that you're building on that for 2025, and I'm anticipating a pretty big year at the plate for you again.
Yeah, man. I try not to think about all that stuff. Certainly wasn't anything expected. Just to see my name on the lineup card every day at Duke was my dream. So it was tough not to get wrapped up in all that stuff, but it certainly wasn't something I expected. So I mean, it was just kind of the cherry on top.
Yeah, so as far as the Duke team this year, you do have a good chunk of returners coming back. AJ Gracia is back, Andrew Healy is back, Wallace Clark is back, you're back, and a handful of others. So that experience as a team that won the ACC tournament, what kind of confidence does that give you coming into 2025 when you had such a successful 2024?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we got a lot of guys that know what it looks like. Wallace also had started in the College World Series and in the College World Series final in his time at Oklahoma before he transferred over. So, I mean, we got a lot of guys that know what it takes to be successful. And we have, another wave of grad transfers that are going to be very impactful for us. So, just a lot of experience, a lot of guys that know what they need to do to prepare themselves every day, and a lot of guys that know what it means to play baseball at Duke and know how important and how impactful that is.
Yeah, that's huge. And as far as your summer ball experience, you spent a couple of summers in the Coastal Plain League. Talk me through kind of your experience there. Obviously, summer baseball in college is some of the best memories that I have as a player, and I'm sure you would agree with that. But talk me some of the Coastal Plain stuff for you over those 2 seasons you spent.
Yeah, man, it's no doubt a grind. But that was very important for me. My summer in Holly Springs, that was the summer after my sophomore year, so I still hadn't had a real college baseball season. So that was important for me to kind of apply a lot of the stuff that I'd been working on my first 2 year of college, 2 years of college, in a game like setting, and that was really important to propel me into the good, junior year I had, freshman year of eligibility. And then the summer in Moorhead was a ton of fun. I've got a beach place down there that I stayed at. So, I mean, that was just a really cool experience. That was also something that I had wanted to do since I was a kid. I would go to some Moorhead City Marlins games growing up when we'd be down at the beach. And that was another cool thing to be able to do, another cool box that I got to check.
That's awesome too. What is your personal outlook on 2025 for both yourself and the team? Obviously, the goal is always Omaha. You came up just a couple of steps short in 2024. That's obviously the team goal, but what's your personal outlook for 2025, both for yourself and the team?
Yeah, I mean, winning an ACC championship is incredible. We're going to get our rings here this month, and I can't wait for that. I mean, that's going to be something I'm certainly going to cherish forever. But the only goal I've got is to be part of the first team at Duke in a long time to get to Omaha. Coach Pollard talks about knocking that door down, and they were really close the year before I got here. They were a game away, and last year, we certainly felt like we were good enough to do it. So I mean that's on the horizon for sure, but it's really just you got to put your head down and take it one game at a time, man. I mean it's a long season. We know that we're good enough to do it. We got the guys for it for sure, both offensively and on the mound. But you just got to put your head down and play to your fullest potential.
Yeah, and what was your favorite ACC series from 2024? Obviously, those environments are super fun, whether you're home or away. Definitely some hostile environments when you hit the road between NC State, between UNC, like you talked about growing up a fan. So, what were some really key series for you that you just walked away from like, holy cow, like this is really cool?
Yeah, I mean that Wake series was for sure pretty awesome. I mean they were number one at the time. There were a ton of people at those games, and we ended up winning that series. Playing at NC State was also really cool for me. Just being from around here, getting to play against NC State at the Doak, man. I mean, that's just another dream come true for me. This year we get to go to Clemson, Miami, Virginia, Carolina. I mean, those are all just going to be really cool opportunities for me to live out some childhood dreams.
That's even better, dude. Having that childhood dream in you and growing up in that area and then getting to travel to all those places has to be just a completely different kind of special experience compared to maybe some of the other guys from other parts of the country.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think being a grad transfer also helps me put it into perspective a little bit and enjoy each moment as it's happening. Because, a lot of the young guys, they've got pro ball in their future, and they enjoy their time here certainly, but across the country, I feel like a lot of guys are just using college as a stepping stone. And for me, I don't know if this is my last year of baseball or not, but it certainly my last year of college. Every moment that I've got playing in a Duke uniform or playing at Carolina this year, at NC State last year, at Wake, I mean, I think I'm in a unique position to be able to really take it all in and enjoy the moment while I'm in it.
Absolutely. I've got one more question for you. What is the key to growing a great baseball mustache? We saw you all over Twitter. 11.7 put you on there a couple of times with some other guys, but what's the key to that?
I think a big part is genetics, certainly, but also just commitment to it, man. I mean, if you're gonna do it, you gotta really do it and commit to it. I did it my junior year at Penn, and it was all right. It wasn't anything crazy. Didn't ever plan on doing anything like it again. But coming to a new school last year, I was like, I want to show these guys what I can do. So started growing it probably in December last year, and I didn't even know what it was going to turn into. But it was pretty funny, pretty crazy. And then this year, I started it in September, I think. So it's already in mid-season form right now. So I don't. We'll see what it looks like in late May. I don't know. I might have to trim it at some point.
I anticipate you being in the award running for best mustache of 2025 again. For
Yeah, I didn't end up winning that last year, so that's another goal of mine.
that,
That's probably the only goal in terms of personal awards that I've got is winning best mustache in college baseball.
no, that's got to be up there for sure. Well, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day, getting this interview up for us, and go Blue Devils. I'm super stoked for this season. I know you are too, and all of Duke Nation is really stoked for 2025. It should be another fantastic year. I'm really excited to jump into the college season. We're only about a month away, so I know you've got preseason stuff on the docket, and that's obviously a big grind. But we're only about we're 40 days short of opening day, so I know you're prepping for it right now.
Yeah, man, it's coming up fast. Certainly stoked about it, and thank you for having me, man. Really appreciate everything you do for the game and all the coverage that you provide for us, man. It's awesome.
Thank you, and we will see you next time.